Hello everyone, we have been in Palma de Mallorca for the last 7 days, so it's time to take you around this beautiful city on this island and show you some of the best things to do when you are in Palma.
Palma de Mallorca is the capital and largest city of the island Mallorca. Palma was founded as a Roman camp upon the remains of the Paleolithic settlement. The city was subjected to several Vandal raids during the fall of the Western Roman Empire, then reconquered by the Byzantine Empire, then colonized by the Moors, and in the 13th century by the James I of Aragon. And let's start to explore the city with probably visiting its most famous site, the Cathedral La Seu.
So you have the Palma Cathedral, which you will see anyway when you visit Palma from the outside. It's a big, magnificent building with a fountain in front of it from the seaside. But it's €8 to enter. And normally cathedrals are quite dark, gloomy inside, maybe a bit scary in some way for some people, but this one has some stained glass, it's very colorful, modern as well in a way, and even plants inside. There are things growing in this cathedral. It's a very lovely open space to visit.
Okay, maybe one area in the cathedral is not that lovely and open, but still a bit more eerie. However, let's do something now that I personally like to do in every city.
Every city, I guess, has an area where you just want to walk around, get lost. In London it might be for me around Soho, Covent Garden, great place to get lost, but here in Palma it is the La Rambla area, from this street where you just have loads of shops around you, to smaller side alleys where you just have beautiful architecture to look at and just get lost. One of the things that you can do in Palma as well is to have a tour in the stadium of the local football club. But the weather is a little bit bad, so let's quickly head inside to see how the stadium looks like.
The stadium is home of RCD Mallorca. It is great to walk around the workspaces behind the scenes, see the pitch, hear that the club has recently been acquired by an American, and that the fancy new paint in the different areas is part of the American mentality. Only funny enough is to realize that the roof is still leaking at some places. And of course, we had a bit of fun in the press room as well.
So thanks everyone for coming here today. Just like to announce our 2 new signings. We're trying to build a really good team here. These guys, just want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Dan and I've joined from Carlisle United, one of the greatest teams in the English League.
From the stadium, it is time to really dive into the local culture that can only be done in one way.
I always love to visit markets in the morning. There's just so much going on, people buying their food for the rest of the day. And Mercat de Bellver, right in the city center, is a good one to explore in that way.
Mercat de Bellver isn't an extremely old market. It has been serving locals and foreigners since 1951. However, it is a surprisingly nice market.
I just love when you enter the fish section, and on the one hand you can buy fresh fish to cook yourself at home or do whatever you want with it. But then just on the other side, a sushi place. The freshest sushi that you can ever get, I guess. I'm not sure because it's off season or because it's 9 o'clock in the morning, but this market right in the city center, it just doesn't fool tourists here at all. Just locals doing the grocery shopping and having a coffee or drink. It's a very, very, very nice place to visit and mingle yourself with locals.
If you want something less central in terms of a market, Mercat de Santa Catalina might be a good alternative with maybe less tourists in the summer months. It can provide you a similar experience to its more centrally located counterpart. Before we explore the rest of Palma, a good idea can also be, if you have some extra time, to make some day trips to, for example, an olive farm and learn how to drink olive oil and taste the differences. Or unwind on a farm by having a brilliant vegetarian 6-course lunch.
I like to cook with a few ingredients. Not always, but and this is only 3 tomato, pomegranate, and thyme, fresh thyme. I grow me my own garden and I make my own oil. Okay, very simple.
After this short break outside Palma, you might want to consider to become a real tourist in Palma again.
I'm just going to do something where you mainly think in your own city, why are those things driving around? It drives me crazy, it's cringy, but if you're in a new place, it might be a good place to start on a hop-on, hop-off bus and learn a bit more with their audio tour.
The hop-on hop-off bus was surprisingly convenient. You learned a bit about the different areas, and for 24 hours you can easily navigate to the different tourist places, including the little bit further located Castell de Bellver. However, we didn't have much time for this, so let's go back into the city center for a fun little fact.
A fun little fact if you're ever in Palma is if you visit Plaza del Rey, Carlos I, is besides that it's a great meeting point to have a drink, have some tapas. If there are the Christmas lights going on, it's a perfect place to watch the Christmas lights as well. But for the locals, it's also known as Turtle Square because the obelisk in the middle is carried by some turtles. So apparently, Palma has also some nice, cute little windmills to offer to you.
Flower windmills are an iconic feature of the island and date back from the 16th to 19th century. Originally, there were around 900 of those windmills on the island. 200 have been lost now and loads of them are in disrepair. Luckily, some of them are still in a fine condition.
What I really love to do in Palma is just walking next to Marine Bay and basically the whole sea line where you have here, looking over the water. At this side enjoying the boats and on the other side enjoying the cathedral. And while we're walking next to the marina, as I told you, you have there in the far distance you can see the cathedral in the background, but also further up the hill is Castell de Bellver. Unfortunately I didn't have enough time to visit the inside of the castle, but the pictures I saw looks really pretty inside. It's €4 to enter. But even if you don't have time to get inside, the views from up that hill are really good as well.
Besides enjoying the coastline of Palma, there might be one thing in Palma that gives me an even bigger smile on my face.
I really just love this. Like, I know you can't do it every time of the year. You can only do it from the last weekend of November till the first weekend of January. But walking around the city with the Christmas lights on is just a celebration on its own. I know some of the Christmas lights might be a little bit basic, but the connection to those squares where you then have those amazing fairy tales, but also the big Christmas tree with the fairy light tunnel and then the stands as well with the Christmas market stands. It's great to see people just coming back together again.
In the end, Palma can offer you a lot of activities and shouldn't be overlooked when you visit Mallorca. Winding down in the city for at least a couple of days is definitely worth it before you explore the rest of Mallorca.